Hello class, we are back for the second activity in lesson 7, and this is a little bit of a mix and match. Okay, so you have a whole list of numbers and then a set of inequality symbols, and we want to come up with true comparison statements that are true, and if you read them, what you're saying is true. There are false comparison statements, and we don't want those for now. So there are a ton of possibilities. There are so many different ways that you can write these here. I'm not going to even try to go through every single possibility, but what I will do is I will share a few examples that I think might surprise some of you. You might not have noticed or be aware of some of these here. So let's go through a couple of those examples. All right, so for one example that we could write, if you look at 7 over 2, 7 halves. 7 halves, right like that. That is actually less than, say, the number 4. Okay? That might be confusing because you might see the 7 and think, oh, 7 is more than 4, but it's 7 divided by 2. That's actually just 3.5, and so that is less than 4. All right, so that would be one that you maybe weren't totally aware of. Okay, another one that I think might surprise you, negative 0.7 and negative 6 over 3. So look at this here. So negative 0.7, believe it or not, is greater than negative 6 over 3. And why, you might ask? Well, negative 0.7 is only 0.7 away from 0. Negative 6 over 3, that's negative 2. That's 2 full numbers away from 0. This is going to be a smaller number. So you could flip this around, right? You could say negative 6/3 is greater than negative 0.7. Okay, these two mean the same thing. Okay, they're just written with one going first and the other one going after it. And so the idea is to make sure that you really read and understand what the statement is saying here. So let me put another space here just to make sure it's clear. So you can see here, negative 0.7 is greater than, this amounts to negative 2, really. Negative 2, which is what this is, we have to switch this is exactly what I was trying to get at here. You're going to need to switch the sign around. Negative 6 over 3 is less than negative 0.7, so this is correct. What I had before is a common mistake. The way people will leave it, they'll forget to change the inequality sign. Okay, and then there's one more that I think may surprise some people. Let me hit enter again here. And okay, we can still see it here. 8 and the absolute value of negative 8. 8 is actually equal to the absolute value of negative 8. Maybe I should put another space there. Okay, that might make a little bit more sense. So 8 is equal to the absolute value of negative 8, right? The absolute value brackets change everything here. That's how this becomes equal. If we didn't have those absolute value brackets there, then they would not be equal. They would be opposites, in fact. But because of the absolute value brackets, they are equal. Now, for the sentences, if we wanted to add sentences to these, I'm going to stretch this out so we can have room for that. Using words instead of symbols. This one here, we would say 7 over 2 is less than 4. And for this one here, let's use just the first inequality that I have here. Negative 0.7 is greater than negative 6 over 3. And then here, with words, we would say that 8 is equal to the absolute value of negative 8. Okay,